In this video, we're going to teach you a little bit about doors. First of all, I am a cabinet maker. And turn of the century, 1900, a cabinet maker was one who makes fine furniture. And if we can make fine furniture, we can definitely make cabinetry that may go in the household, kitchen cabinets, stuff like that. So what I've got here is I've got an amazing sample of a door. This is backyard tree wood. That means a tree trimmer friend of mine bought this, found this tree, cut it down, and turned it into lumber. This happens to be carob, and I want you to notice I've got a book match panel, but at the same time, my center mullion is of the same piece of wood. We're looking for a homogeneous piece of wood that is going to be cut apart and put back together almost as though it grew. We're into this lumber matching, we're into this grain matching. It's a very wonderful thing to share with the world. So I will be making a door for this cabinet, but it'll be very similar to what we've got going on here. So the first thing we're going to start with is always the panel. The panel is something that will be given to us from the world, and we need to wrap some styles or rails around it in order to use it as a door. And what I mean by that, as much as we want to resaw and book match a piece of urban lumber, the world is going to say, get over it, we're using this gorgeous stuff. It's called plywood. In this case, I've got a 1/4-inch panel that's an A, the face is ABCD, and the back is 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice gets the alphabet, ugly gets the numbers. So this would be an A3 panel. This is some kind of a Luan stuff. The salesman calls it Philippine mahogany, but we're not talking to salesmen today. This would be vertical grain walnut. And even though they call it a 1/4-inch panel, guess what? It's some kind of mummas, and I don't know what that is. Those are millimeters. So if you measured it, you're not going to get the right number at all. So I need to make my grooves and tongue and grooves to fit the panel. There's nothing worse than closing the door and the panel rattling around. So we're going to discuss how to build a panel in case we wanted to use solid wood. All right. Let's measure our opening and make a quick sketch. The width of our opening is 13, and the length is also 13. Our door size will be 3/4 of an inch thick by 13 wide by 13 long. A 5-piece door, a frame and panel door, will be created using the tongue and groove system. Our bill of materials will be 2 styles. Styles go up and down, 3/4 by 2 1/4 by 13. And 2 rails, a top and a bottom, 3/4 by 2 1/4 by 9 1/2. If you look at our drawing, the world only sees an 8 1/2-inch rail exposed. However, there's a 1/2-inch tongue on either end to fit into the groove. So our rails are 3/4 by 2 1/4 by 9 1/2. And then we need a panel. So let's go find a panel. How wide? How long? How thick? Well, let's get that first. Okay, so back to these panels. Again, I typically use a walnut panel, 1/4-inch. 1/4-inch is a name, and we'd go from there. Okay. You might want to get really cool and use bamboo. This is a bamboo panel, which was supposed to take over the market, but guess what? It is all glue, and joiners and planers do not like the glue. It kills your joiner and planer. So we could go for another panel. This is a maple panel, all kinds of stuff, but I know what you're thinking. We want wood. Let's do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to want to use this panel. And this is an old, ugly, crooked piece of wood, but it was grown in the backyard. It's urban forestry. We're going to save the world. So here we go. We're going to start off by rough cutting this to length.
Well, let's resaw this board. I worked in several wood shops, making custom furniture, custom cabinetry, and the like. And resawing, well, wasn't always done at the bandsaw. To be honest with you, the bandsaw was too small, too dull, wrong-sized blade, something like that. So we found that beginning the resaw process at the table saw not only was quicker, more accurate, and just simply an easier way to go. So I have a large fence. I'm going to use another board in my hand to keep that against the fence, register that board, and then one cut and only one on the very end. We'll see that later. So I'm taking successive cuts, maybe 3/4 to an inch at a time, and then I'll split it at the bandsaw. The bandsaw doesn't have to work that hard. Notice no fence at all. And boom, we have split that thing apart. Okay, let's get back on the planer. And then once we're at thickness, we will sand the panel. 150, 180, 220. Wet that thing down, and we're ready for 320.